Hi, everybody. I am Mike.
And I'm Shane.
We do a podcast called the Mike on Much Podcast. You can get it on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, and Much.com.
But we're doing something kind of weird here, right? Because this one is going to actually be part of the pod now.
This is going to be an episode, so you might be listening to this on SoundCloud, but at this very moment, we're on Facebook Live, but recording this for iTunes and all the other platforms we're on. So for the first time, this is going to be a bit of a bonus episode. And the reason we did this is because last night the Oscars were on TV. Some stuff went down, and immediately after, Max sent us like a group text.
Yeah, he was very excited. Like 1 a.m., just assuming we're still up at that time. Like, guys, we got to get together. We'll do a pod after work or do a Facebook Live. It was almost like he was on drugs or something. Didn't it seem odd to you?
Can you explain who Max is?
Oh, and Max.
Who is Max?
Max. Well, Max is the singer of a very popular band, Arkells, and he's also the producer of this pod. So, in his sort of producer mind, he saw what went down at the end of the Oscars last night and immediately started being like, we got to talk about this because obviously it's a once-in-a-lifetime event.
But he couldn't be here right now, so it's just the two of us.
No, well, he was up all night on drugs.
Right,
so,
yeah.
No, that's not true. But he was very enthusiastic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, first of all, Oscars. Shane's our pop culture aficionado, so you know you were watching. He's made an effort to see all the films that were at the Oscars this year. We've been talking about them leading up.
Yep.
And every year, Shane, for like about a decade, we've gotten together and done like an Oscar pool. There's like a party.
Mm-hmm.
Money gets spent. This year we weren't.
Well, last year we were all living in Toronto.
Yes.
So we had a party at actually our friend and boss's house.
Yeah.
And I won that pool.
You did.
And so once you get a taste of the victory, you do not want to lose.
Mm-hmm.
So I was actually looking forward to taking your money this year. I did end up winning the pool again, but Mike didn't show up. And Mike's one of the, I think, my main competitor. So it was very easy to win without you there. Like, if you and your brother Greg were there, I'd get a little nervous, but
Right.
I was pretty much just chilling and counting the cash at the end of the night.
Well, anyway, I mean, aside from all of the betting and everything, and did you win at the last minute?
No, I lied to make it seem interesting.
Oh, I was like,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I know. I acted like, because as everyone knows by now, Moonlight ended up kind of unceremoniously winning in the shocking fashion.
Yeah.
But I acted like I had just won my pool by voting for Moonlight, which would be an awesome moment in an Oscar pool if anyone had Moonlight, and that was the clinching vote.
Totally.
Just to see the room change if there's a lot of money on the line.
Well, we did see a room change, because that room at the auditorium last night changed big time. But before any of that, what'd you think of Jimmy Kimmel?
Oh, he's great because he doesn't waste a ton of time with like an opening number. Usually eats up a lot of time. Usually they're very good, but he's kind of just like a personality dude. Like, he comes out there and he's just funny.
He's not
effortlessly funny.
He's not like a song and dance man or like sort of like a vaudeville guy like Jimmy Fallon will sort of do a bunch of stuff. In some ways, they opened with Timberlake doing the "Can't Stop the Feeling" song. That kind of was the opening like dance number that kind of set the tone. And then he just came out and he was kind of himself. Like
but I didn't think it was overly long. You know, the troll song or whatever.
Yeah. Just in general, this show seems to drag, and I don't know what it was about last night, but it actually felt like it moved. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it's because, and I don't know, what'd you think of his bits? First, let's start with the candy.
It just seemed like a sponsored thing,
right.
Which I didn't think he was behind it. So
right.
I thought that was fine and fun. Like, I wasn't like laughing my ass off when those parachutes came down.
Right.
But
did it eventually get annoying seeing the parachutes come down?
Not to me, no. I liked when that little kid, he held him up like Simba.
And did the Lion King song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, drop the Mike and Ike's. So I was like wondering if Mike and Ike had paid the kid beforehand, but...
No, it's a good question. Mm-hmm. They're all in on it.
Yeah.
Okay, and then obviously the bit that everyone was going to be talking about before the ending of the show, the tour bus bit with the regular people.
Yeah, it's kind of strange though, because I was suspicious of it. Great idea, in theory, but are you going to get true Oscar fans? Like, who takes a tour bus, a Hollywood tour, during the Oscars? You clearly don't give that much shit about celebrities. So are the people going to be that excited when they're meeting all these celebrities? So although they were interesting characters, they clearly weren't that in awe of all the celebrities they were meeting. Like, the guy was literally kissing everybody's hand like it was just some girl at a party or something. Like it was kind of weird. I did enjoy it though.
Yeah, okay, so that's a good point. So you're saying if these people were really like true cinephiles or cared about Hollywood culture, they would be somewhere watching the Oscars.
It's the least likely place to find a celebrity is during the Oscars. All the celebrities are literally at one place. That's going to be the shittiest Hollywood tour of all time. If the idea is to sightsee and be like, hey, there's Hugh Jackman. Well,
Right.
Hugh Jackman's tap dancing at the Oscars.
Well,
right
Hugh
now.
wasn't at the Oscars. They might have saw him.
He
at
was
the
probably in the
Starbucks.
crowd.
He could have been.
Mhm.
But maybe they were on vacation. It coincided. How much vetting do you think happened so that they weren't putting, maybe people that could be dangerous next to all of these A-list stars?
Yeah, that's a good question. I really want to know
The mechanics?
process. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how they know someone's not going to swear or do something outlandish or, potentially hurt one of the celebrities.
Sure. I think that Jimmy got really lucky with Gary from Chicago and his wife Vicky because they were such expressive people and were like very kind of like, I think they seemed very ordinary and real in a good way. Do you think there's any chance that they were actors?
No, I think people who take those tours are kind of a stranger breed anyways. And I wouldn't say that Gary guy was ordinary. He almost, with a slightly different personality, you might think he was homeless. Like he was wearing those huge long shorts that could double his pants.
That's what tourists look like.
Really?
Yeah, go around America,
I don't know.
man.
At first I was honestly thinking he may be a homeless dude. Which, I thought made it real.
Right.
If he was too put together or too commercially viable, it would seem like a bit of like there were plants.
Yeah.
But I do think that helped a bit a lot.
I thought he was great.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I think everybody felt very, to me, it felt authentic. Like, the couple that was, they just got married, they're on their honeymoon. They felt real. She had the funny name. Remember he had the exchange with her?
Yeah, rhyme with jewelry or something?
Yeah, it was like Eulery.
I think so.
And then the boyfriend or the husband was like Colin or something, or Patrick.
Patrick.
Yeah, anyway. Anyway, that bit worked for me. Was there any sort of upsets or interesting speeches or awards before we get to, obviously, the grand finale?
I wasn't expecting Sing to win for animated short.
Oh, really?
So that was a bit of an upset to me.
Are you-
Not that I watch any of them, but I research like most people do. If you're doing a pool and you want to win, you have to research the shit out of it, look at the Vegas odds, make informed decision. And none of them said Sing. So when that one won, my jaw kind of hit the floor because the way we did our pool, which is kind of stupid, everything was worth 1 point.
Oh.
Where sometimes the lesser categories, like sound mixing, you might give it 2 or 3 points, and like the big ones are worth 5.
Yep.
So we did it kind of strange. So I was
So
worried-
everything was worth 1,
yeah,
including the big awards?
yeah. It was kind of
Wow.
like playing American in basketball.
Yeah.
So
Weird. So that was a surprise to you. Was it surprising that Casey Affleck won over Denzel?
no, it was toss up either or. I think
You thought it was a 50-50 play?
Yeah. So what I fill out 4 sheets, like I like to guarantee I'm going to win. So on one sheet I put Casey, on one sheet I put Denzel, and same with Isabelle Huppert.
Yeah.
I thought she was.
She
It's not
could've
a
been-
coin flip, but if she won, I wouldn't have been surprised. So I did the same thing.
Right. So you thought it was between her and Emma Stone.
Yes.
So what'd you think of Casey's acceptance speech?
I was looking for more controversy because I heard he did a thing at the Golden Globes where he read like a bunch of critics' reviews.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure if that's accurate, but someone was telling me at the party that he did that, and I thought that would have been very interesting.
That's
I
fine.
thought his speech wasn't that great.
It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like Ben Affleck was crying, though.
Yeah,
When
I like
when
seeing that.
When he quoted the song, "He ain't heavy, he's my brother."
Did he do that?
Yeah, he's like, "Ben, you ain't heavy."
The volume was too low at this party. That was another problem.
Oh.
People are chattering.
Yeah.
Kind of like, shut the fuck up. But you can't do that. I'm at the boss's house. I'm like,
You're taking his money?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
but I do think, just for
Yep.
history, that's the first time a brother team had won Oscars. And especially in different categories. I don't think that's ever happened before. Like, Ben's never won for acting.
Really?
He won for writing and directing.
That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Did Jimmy make the joke about, somebody made, I thought, a funny joke about Casey Affleck playing like a, sort of like a quiet, mumbly guy from the outskirts of Boston who's living in the shadow of his older brother.
Yeah, what a stretch.
What a stretch,
Yeah,
that was great.
that was awesome.
What did you think of the continuous Matt Damon feud going back and forth, going back to that well for that gag?
I liked the bit. I thought it worked, and I liked when they were doing the thing where they played the music off. I just don't think they needed to cut to Jimmy
doing the
it?
orchestra.
Because it's like, we get it. Jimmy's orchestrating this. We don't need to see this.
Yeah.
So that went a little long, but sometimes you gotta appease the hacks who are like, "What's happening? That's an error." Like, older people or people who just don't get it.
I like that. Okay.
Jimmy,
Yeah.
like my mom would love that.
Right. And think it might be a mistake until
Yeah.
she saw Jimmy with the conductor stick.
Such a hack, mom.
Okay, so, and I love the We Bought a Zoo bit where they...
Oh, that was one of the best bits.
So do you think that the Charlize Theron and the Seth Rogen bits were solely there to set up Jimmy's punchline?
No, but I definitely think it helped, obviously.
Right.
Yeah, I thought that was amazing. Like, We Bought a Zoo. It's just such a ridiculous title.
And just him earnestly talking about why every time he comes back to this film to watch it was so funny. Michael J. Fox.
And how you can see him trying.
Yeah, totally. Michael J. Fox, Seth Rogen. That was a good moment. Some Canadian content.
Yeah, I kind of knew that was going to happen.
Right.
Because
They teased
Jimmy
the car.
had done a bit with Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd before where they brought out the car.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Okay.
I won that bet also.
Was there any other comedy that jumps out to you?
Just the greatest thing ever happening, which lends itself to a lot of comedy, which fucking up the best picture.
Insane. Okay, so everybody I'm sure has watched this. You know what happened. Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway get up there, and he's confused. And I really thought he was kind of milking it and doing a bit.
And I don't really like when someone's doing that.
Oh, me either. It's not your moment.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you got to play it straight. Like, do your comedy before you get to the... It's like, it's open season for that, minute and a half you got. But then the minute you read the nominees and it's time to open the envelope, you got to play it straight. I watched Kevin Hart do that at one point, too. I can't remember where it was. I think it was the Golden Globes. And it's just like, you can't really mess around once it gets to winning time.
No.
Because it makes the room uncomfortable. Because there's a tension, right?
It's just not funny.
It's not, and it's mildly selfish. So I think that's what Warren's doing. And he's like old Hollywood, and he's like, I'm going to be a bit of a rascal. And even Faye Dunaway, I felt like she was getting, like, she's like, you're abominable, or whatever she said. Like, she started feeling like, come on, Warren.
Yeah.
But as we all know now, he was just confused.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the gears were turning, and he's going... Actually, we'll get to the postmortem after.
He kind of threw her under the bus a little bit, because he's like, I'm not fucking this up. You read it, dear.
You read it, dear. Well,
She's like, you cad, and then she's like, La La Land.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't really read it.
I think, like, I've now watched, like, this footage, like, 20 times because it's so fascinating to me. I think he is confused. You see him look off to the producers at one point, and then he shows her not here to read, but I think he just wanted one other person, like a co-pilot, to just confirm, I'm about to halt this show and say that we have the wrong envelope. I just want her to kind of give me confirmation that that's wrong. But she just saw La La Land and thought, because he was screwing around so much, we just need to get on with it. She just blurted La La Land. And then you can hear the audio after where he goes, it said Emma Stone. And she goes,
like, what?
She goes, what? and then the VO
cut
kicks
the mic,
in.
yeah.
It's like, La La Land is 1, it's 7th, or whatever. Okay, so in the moment, we didn't get any of this, right? You just think La La Land wins. We thought Warren was being a bit of a cad and kind of milking the moment. La La Land gets up. First producer, that Josh, I can't remember his name, but...
The bald dude.
Yeah. He starts going, then the second guy goes.
Oldie.
You start... I like you have names for all of them. And did you notice Headset, like, walking in the background?
Of course. That's the first thing. I was like, what are they doing back there?
Why is there a Headset guy back there, right? So the Spidey senses start tingling, and Dan and I are like, we're watching it. And then you start to see, like, it kind of, like, ripple through. And now, obviously, part of this is kind of how much of this is... I'm thinking I saw it because I've watched it 10 times since now. But you start to realize something's wrong.
Yeah.
What are you guys thinking at your Oscar party?
I thought they were, people were like rushing the stage. After like a Super Bowl victory, a lot of fans just feel like they can just run on the field and not get cut. So I thought maybe extra people were coming on stage. They're like, get that guy off the fucking stage. And I thought there were like...
Crowd control.
There was maybe a shirtless dude. You know how they're streaking at soccer games? I thought maybe the guy had like a advertisement on stage or something and they don't give it credence.
It was the kid from Lion. It just said Mike and Ike's. But okay, so you thought it was crowd control.
Yeah, and they don't want to show it on camera, so they were like isolating it.
Yeah.
And then I see that the guy showing them, like, it was kind of a funny blunt thing. He's like, look, you didn't win.
Yeah.
And then the guy who's about to go up and give the speech, he sees that he didn't win. but he still chooses to go up and give the speech.
It's his moment, man.
He's like, now or never. And then he's
And
like,
really soon, never.
yeah, he's like, and we didn't win, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
It's like you knew that before you started the speech.
Well, the funny thing about the way that whole thing was handled, and it was chaos, right? And in chaos, you don't know, like, who's going to come out looking good, who's not. And I think a lot of people ended up coming out fine. I actually think Warren ended up coming out all right. I think that Josh, I think Hurwitz said, I don't know how to say this. So he ended up the guy that basically took control, where he was like, we didn't win, Moonlight won. He ends up holding up the thing.
Yeah, I like, but he wanted to like totally take the moment. Like Warren's about to tell him, he's like, "Give me that." He's like, "Moonlight won."
Yeah, yeah.
Like Warren's like,
"You've done enough, Warren."
Yeah.
And it's like, but what I was gonna say is, I think that the one guy that didn't come off great was the guy that finished his sentiment. He goes, "Oh, and apparently we lost," which just seemed kind of like. There's a more grace, like, it's like really bitchy. Like, I can get that way sometimes when you get, like, it was petulant.
Yeah.
Which is fine, because it's, like, extraordinary circumstances. But I think everybody else, under their circumstances, handle themselves well. Jimmy, you could tell, was just waiting, like, what's my line? Like, what's, because if you're him, it's like, that's like a once-in-a-sort of millennia opportunity. How'd you think he handled it? I mean, he made the Steve Harvey joke.
Yeah, I thought it was great. And I like how he, which no one else would do, he kind of dismissed it as just an award show. It's like, at the end of the day, guys, these are just awards. Like,
let's give everybody awards. I wish you could all take Oscars or whatever.
But at the very end, after that, he said, "This is just an award show."
Oh, that exact line. Oh, yeah, that was good. What did you think of Warren explaining himself? Like, basically holding up the process, like, I just need to explain myself. I got nervous, because I was like, oh, Warren's old. You know, maybe he's not all there.
Yeah, but I think it was necessary. Because
he had to.
You're confused as the audience, and it makes total sense. Like, it wasn't just an old guy snafu. It was like La La Land was slated to win. It was pretty obvious La La Land was going to win. It would have been shocking without all the fuck-ups if Moonlight had won, which it obviously did. So when he saw La La Land, what's going through his head is, oh, they screwed it up and put Emma Stone. That's the typo he's thinking. He's thinking in all probability it's La La Land for Best Picture, but it says La La Land Best Actress. And he's like, okay. I would have done the exact same thing.
Yeah, well, so...
Any other film I wouldn't have, though. I would have questioned whether it was a mistake.
The post-mortem essentially is that the people that tabulate the results, I think like something Ernst and Young, or I don't know.
Price Waterhouse.
Price Waterhouse, yeah. No, it was the other one that was probably loving everything about this. So Price Waterhouse, they have two accountants, right? And they have two briefcases with identical winners on them. They're the only two people that know them. They commit the winners to memory, and then they go to two sides of the stage. And because they don't know which side the producers are going to send like the different celebs out. So if Leo comes out to the left side of the stage to announce Best Actress, he gets the Best Actress envelope. This woman's waiting on this side of the stage, or whomever it is out of the accountants. And then so when Warren comes out this side, she needs to give him the Best Picture envelope. Somehow, and I don't know if it was her or him, her or the guy. It's just the guy made the statement, so I assume it was, you know, because it's a girl and the guy that does it. You can look all this up. She obviously gave the wrong envelope. She gave the envelope from the category before.
Women, man.
Nobody looked at it. And that's how it happened. Now, like you said, what Warren did in that moment, I don't know what anybody else would have done. Unless he just said, like, and hindsight's 20/20, listen, like, I have the wrong envelope, which would have sent a gasp through the crowd and been a moment in and of itself. But it would have been probably better than getting a whole wrong movie up there to accept.
Yeah, I think the awkwardness of saying wrong envelope, just the probability of it being La La Land outweighed the risk of saying that it's a wrong envelope.
It's a good point.
You know what I mean? That's what runs through your head.
And then there was like and then it ended up being kind of a great moment. So two things with Moonlight. Great moment to like have Moonlight be shocked, but it also, because of the fuck up, robbed Moonlight, which like you said was such an upset for Best Picture anyway. That would have been a great moment where I think people would have been like shocked and like, that's amazing that Moonlight won Best Picture.
I think it's a better moment for Moonlight now. No one is ever going, like, who won Best Picture 3 years ago?
Right.
No one's ever going to forget that Moonlight won Best Picture. And it was such a controversial, weird, cool, interesting way to do it. And I don't think their speeches got...
stepped on. They were just discombobulated. Everybody was very out of sorts.
Yeah.
And then the aftermath, obviously, like a million, memes. Because dude holding up the Moonlight envelope is the perfect frame for now everybody to like Photoshop over it, like Lemonade by Beyonce, which should have won. It became its own thing. Did you see anything in particular that made you laugh?
No, I was actually expecting a lot of like inappropriate memes. I've got a friend who posts a lot of weird stuff, so I was kind of glad that it wasn't like, oh, of course the black guy steals it from the white people or something like that.
Oh, gotcha.
Like those,
gotcha.
you know, you see those ones that are really out of left field.
Just super, inappropriate.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Billy Eichner from Billy on the Street had a really funny tweet where, like, literally within like 5 minutes of the mix-up, he in all caps is like, if anyone from the In Memoriam is still alive, please let us know. Like, out of things that they actually screwed up.
Oh, that's something to talk about too.
And then it turned out somebody from the In Memoriam is still alive.
Who?
So this woman, is that what you guys are talking about?
They used somebody else's photo.
It was so this Australian costume designer, 4 times nominated, like The Piano, some other movies made in Australia, had passed away. And Australian producers, that her photo was the one that was used. So they had the name and the occupation right, but they used the wrong photo of like a female producer. Yeah.
And no Bill Paxton.
No, but Jen Aniston said Bill Paxton off the top.
Yeah, but you got to show a picture.
You know, they edit the pack. They're gonna call the editor in to
I don't know. They put Prince in, no David Bowie, and they put David Bowie in last year when he did the last minute death thing.
Yeah, but Paxton literally died less than 24 hours before the Oscars.
Still, like you think editors they could put it together.
Yeah, true. But get a timeout in the song.
It wasn't timed out that perfectly. I was paying attention to it.
Did you know that Carrie Fisher would be the hammer, the final image?
Yep.
Yeah.
But I was still a little surprised that they mentioned Bill and not showed him.
Gotcha.
Because that means they're not going to show his picture next year.
I think they will.
Yeah?
Yeah. Anything going on? Anything else? Anything else about the Oscars that you wanted to bring up? Do you think we covered it all? Dan, was there anything that you thought went down?
I think you covered most of it.
Okay.
Yeah, like, is this worth it? Was this as interesting as you had hoped, Max? Like, I feel like I'm letting Max down.
Oh, hey, listen, it was the most, unique and extraordinary thing that, well, this is something that I tweeted late last night, is we're living in an insane time where, like, I feel like this period of time, the most unlikely and, I guess, like, we've been a part of a string of events that have been so unique and implausible, like Trump's victory, that Cavs championship, 3-1 down, the Patriots win, which was nuts.
Yeah.
That the World Series where you had that home run and then it goes to extra innings, like it's like this confluence of events are happening, and it's just like I don't know if we're spiraling out of control. Like the way things have happened, I would say over this last year or like 12-month period. If you were to take any of those events isolated and write them and put them in a movie, in a piece of fiction, an editor would be like, it's too unlikely. Like, no one's going to believe it.
Would you say truth is stranger than fiction?
This year, absolutely.
Do you remember when Kevin Garnett won the championship and he yelled, anything is possible?
I do.
It's true.
Kevin Garnett was right.
Is there a chance they gave the wrong envelope on purpose?
No.
Next question. No.
No way.
I think it was just an error. I don't know what would the purpose be.
Like, what? Don't do the 2 envelope thing. Just say, Leo, you're walking out left. You're going right. Don't just have 2 and let them go willy-nilly. You're setting yourself up to fail.
It is weird to have, like, double envelopes. It's just too... Or, I was saying this morning to somebody, I was like, you burn the... Like, the minute Best Actress is done, if you're the person with the second set and you know the next presenter's coming to your thing, you chuck them. Like, you should be throwing them out as the categories go so you don't have Best Picture and Best Actress sitting there in your briefcase side by side. That's the only thing I can imagine. Like, did they have them both out? Did they not look? Like, now there's all these screen grabs where you see right on the front in gold, it's like lead actress in a motion picture or whatever it says. Like, it's titled on the front of the envelope. How do you do that?
It's weird, man.
Because it wasn't the envelope that Leo had. Because
Anything
Emma
is
Stone had
possible.
it. Anything's... Hey, Kevin Garnett said it best.
It's true.
All right, we're going to wrap up our Oscar
Is there a
episode.
question?
No.
Fuck it. We're done.
We're done. So, again, check us out, Michael Much Podcast. Shane, Pop Culture Aficionado. Mike, the host. Our producer is the wonderful Max Kerman. Thanks for the Arkells. You can find us on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Much.com. Just today, we had a new episode with Tom Chaplin of Keen go up. Lots to talk about there. Even Shane talking some Oscar prediction before, and a lot of Bachelor. So feel free to check it out. Thanks for joining us on a Monday, and we'll see you next time if we don't die in the weekend.
Word.